Today on Reviews on the Run, we go a little ape with the tie-wearing gorilla Donkey Kong. We take a look back at all the monkey madness through the past years and make our way to his triumphant return back to the consoles with Donkey Kong Country Returns. Welcome to Reviews on the Run. We're enjoying our potassium intake for the day. We eat these all the time, not just for
I totally understand now why Donkey Kong is obsessed with bananas, because they are delicious.
They are delicious.
They make you feel good.
He's also obsessed with Pauline, as we're about to find out in Miniland Mayhem for the DS. DS gamers, Nintendo has a Mario treat for you. I'm calling it a treat already. It's called Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem.
You know what's a treat? Seeing Pauline, my old girlfriend again. She's back.
Mario!
Donkey Kong, once again, scoops her up.
Because he can't have the Pauline toy, and he gets all infuriated and grabs the real thing and runs away with it.
The game opens with a brief cinematic that shows Mario giving away Pauline little collectibles, and let me tell you something, you wanted one.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so did Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
They only go to the first 100 people through the gate.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong turns out to be the 101st person doesn't get his Pauline collectible.
Yeah.
So he goes on a rampage.
Come back here, you big monkey!
And we've seen the Mario vs. Donkey Kong gameplay before. This is, you know, single screen or double screen. It basically, you see most of the environments before you, and you have to kind of manipulate your little Mario toys.
Yeah, it's a cross between the Pikmin and Lemmings.
Yes.
And, you know, you activate your little Mario mini characters, and they start going along a little path. They're little wind-up toys. They were so cute.
It's very cute. And lots of really good brain-teasing puzzles to kind of figure out using the environmental stuff. There's tracks to lay and little bouncy, springy things that'll bounce you up to the other thing. You can pick up hammers and knock out bad guys every once in a while.
This is a funny game for me because I really admire this.
Yeah.
And I really love the Nintendo theme and the music and the art and the colors.
Me
and
too.
It's so flashy and the cartoonish.
Yeah.
But there's something annoying about this series for me, and I don't know what it is.
Well,
I don't ever want to play it endlessly the way that I want to play Angry Birds, and I don't know why.
They're not as indelible as the other Mario adventures or even Donkey Kong back in the day. It's like a crossword puzzle sort of stimulation. But I do love the fact that there's online connectivity now to be able to save and download lots of created levels, which is awesome. I felt like when they put the DSiWare version of this game out, that was the right direction for this series to go. I don't know if
Does it need to be on a cartridge?
It needs to be a full-price cartridge. I mean, it's awesome that there's a lot more content. It's double the amount of built-in content, and then there's all kinds of downloadable stuff that you can do. I think it's worth it. I really like it, but it's not the best that Mario can be.
And, you know, I really admire and respect this game, and I think if you only buy a couple of games a year, this should be one of those games because there's so much to it. But I don't want to play anymore.
It's not as addictive as
I want to
Super
go back.
Mario Brothers DS or anything like that.
Please, save me!
What are you going to give Mario in Miniland Mayhem?
6.5 for me, Vic.
I am going to give it an 8 out of 10.
You know what? We got more Donkey Kong goodness right after this.
It's rude that we're eating, isn't it?
It's not at all.
No? It's all right? Okay.
I'm comfortable.
We've still got plenty of bananas to collect on Reviews on the Run, and after the break, we check out a bunch of classic Donkey Kong games, including the N64 favorite, and we bust out the Donkey Kongas.
Welcome back to the studio. Donkey Kong is one of the most enduring video game icons of all time.
We all love him. He's very, very important to this video game industry. He's very hairy, and he's always a good foil for our beloved Mario. We've been reviewing Donkey Kong games for a very long time on this show. Take a look.
Donkey Kong 64.
Long and boring and not enough action and adventure. I love Donkey Kong Country. I thought they were going to make the next version of Donkey Kong Country on the N64, and it was so not that.
There's awesome graphics in this game, but they're spread out. Like, it takes a long time to get to the really cool areas. It's a game of collecting stuff, so once you've collected all your bananas or weaponry, you're just walking through empty areas. I did like the multiplayer gaming in there. I thought the multiplayer is probably the most enjoyable part of it.
I didn't like that either. I mean, two monkeys. There's no map, so you have no idea where your other monkey is.
I don't have a problem with the fact that they're the cartoon monkeys. I think you're probably sick of these little cartoon characters.
I didn't mind that as much as just the controls. I didn't like the controls in the multiplayer. What would you give this on a scale of 1 to 10, though?
8.5.
Technically, it's a great game. Fun factor, way low. Bored the skulls out of me. Graphics weren't that great. Didn't like the controls. 5.5.
Wow.
Very average.
It's not average.
At best.
No way. It's not an average game.
Technically, it's better.
No way.
Hey,
You're
I play
totally
games.
off base.
I play games because they're fun, not because they're technically great.
Of course, but
I didn't have fun playing this.
There's lots of fun in this game.
I didn't have fun playing
There's lots of fun in this game. It's
well,
just
maybe you found some, but I didn't.
There's long stretches in between the fun.
Yeah, it's long
that's my
stretches,
problem.
right. No.
It deserves higher than 5.5.
It doesn't.
8.5. Mario versus Donkey Kong is kind of a strange twist on Mario. It's two screens.
It's almost like Mario meets Lemmings
in some capacity.
In some areas, but
it's an update to the 1994 Donkey Kong game that was out for the Game Boy. It's all puzzle solving. It's not real exploration.
Right, and it's all pretty much 1 or 2 screens high.
Right.
But the backgrounds are kind of just like color blurred out.
Yes.
So you don't get these big, vibrant colors. This game really isn't about the graphics at all. Although what is cool is Mario actually is in 3D. So when you're doing flips off of poles and things, you actually see him moving in 3D, which I thought was a nice touch.
I also liked all of the little still frame cutscenes that they've got in there with the little story sequences going on.
This is probably the best sounding Game Boy Advance game ever of all time.
It does sound really good.
I mean, the music is excellent. The voiceovers are funny.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
And the quality is so high.
It's more puzzle solving and trying to just get from one screen to the next, these single type screens in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I was surprised that I beat the game as quickly as I did. I got through all the levels. There's only about 50 different levels, and then there's a harder version that you can play and unlock. What would you give Mario vs. Donkey Kong?
I'd give that a 9.5.
I would give that an 8.5. Donkey Konga. This is a game where you bongo along to different songs that are played, and it's very much like the Dance Dance Revolution, Parappa the Rappa, even Karaoke Revolution style of games.
As far as the interaction with the game, if you took away the Congo part, you're just pressing buttons. There's nothing that happened within the game.
Gotcha.
Which, depending on how good or bad you did.
I kind of agree with you there. I think the ball was dropped. I think there could have been a little bit more effort put into the presentation of Donkey Konga. You could have definitely seen more animated little bits there with the characters getting into the music and celebrating that you're getting the smacks right.
It's a Nintendo first-party game, so you're expecting all of that depth.
Right.
You're expecting 50 different modes.
They did give you some cool stuff. There's different difficulty levels too. You start on the monkey level, you start on then you go to the chimp, and then you get into the gorilla. And this stuff is broken down in different songs. And you get about 30 different songs on there that range from campfire songs and sort of kid-type music to some
classical. It is important to mention, though, that these are replicas of the songs. They're not the actual real songs.
No, it's like Karaoke Revolution where they redid the music.
They redid the music.
They did the same thing. And it also becomes a lot more challenging, too, when you're playing with other players because you're hearing all of these different beats coming from every different angle, and you get lost in the rhythm. But in terms of what the gameplay is, basically you're just following a line of different types of hits. You can have your left drum or your right drum or both drums together or the clap.
Or there's a hold line as well, so if you hold the left as much as you can or the right one as much as you can.
And it sounds, pretty simple, but it actually can be a little bit challenging if you're not a composer of video game soundtracks.
All right.
But, overall, I thought Donkey Konga was pretty darn cool. I agree with you. I don't think it has tons and tons of staying power, but I think it's fun to play with other people, and I think it's definitely a game that GameCube owners should check out this season. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 7.
People tell me a lot that I look like Clark Kent crossed with a monkey. Yeah. We'll have more lookalikes right after this.
The monkey business keeps on coming as we keep the rhythm going with Donkey Konga 2 and then use the jungle beat to squash some baddies. Welcome back to Reviews on the Run. Now, when you're talking Donkey Kong games, most of them are oldies and goodies, yeah? He hasn't had too many missteps.
You know, recently I just recovered from an affliction called burning barrels. I put some cream on it, and it's better now, yeah.
Well, here's some more classic Donkey Kong goodness for you.
Donkey Kong Jungle Beat for the GameCube from Nintendo. What'd you think of the second bongo game that we're reviewing on the GameCube?
Well, the whole thing about this game is that you control Donkey Kong by whacking the hell out of a drum. I gotta say, you know, the game is visually kind of pleasing. You know, there's lots of colors. I would have liked to have seen the camera come in a little bit like we see in Donkey Kong Country.
No, it does do that. It does for specific action
specific
scenes.
Things, but overall, it's a little farther back.
It is a little farther back, and I mean, the gameplay is a little bit different here. You are controlling Donkey Kong with the bongos. Left one and right one sort of correspond with the direction.
Right.
And if you clap, Donkey Kong actually claps, and he tries
special things.
Has this sort of little force field thing jump off of him, and it grabs all of the bananas. And that's the whole goal here. As it is in all Donkey Kong games, he's chasing all the bananas. I thought it was a great update to the whole Donkey Kong Country aesthetic, and it was nice to see all that stuff.
But you know what? When you were playing this game, didn't it kind of make you yearn for like just another Donkey Kong?
Yeah, it's time for just a
country
regular
like,
Donkey Kong game, for sure.
I was wishing I could just play this game with my controller, you know? And you can play it with the controller, but it didn't make a lot of sense.
It's a little clunky, a little cumbersome. But if you bought the bongos and you have Donkey Kong and you're waiting for Donkey Konga 2, you should get this game. Because you've got the bongos, you've invested them. Yeah, exactly. You've invested in them, and it's a fun game. Now, there is a big problem with this game in that it's over pretty quick. It does tire you out, but there aren't lots and lots of levels to see.
It's not very deep.
But I thought that the levels that they did show were really quite imaginative.
Well, they're really nice. There's lots of action always going on within the levels.
I love jumping on the mountain goat and he's busting through all of the icicles and things.
Happening. There's parachutes where you can parachute down and use a parachute. You jump on blobs.
I love the boss fights. The giant elephant, the robot elephant, when it shoots out bombs and you gotta hit the bongos and hit the bomb right into his schnoz. I love when you get into a battle though and you're bashing on both bongos.
You're just whacking the bongos. You like whacking the bongos, do you?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. And at the end of every level too, you have this sort of collect as many bananas as you can in as little time as possible. So you're just going crazy on the bongos. Your arms and your hands,
they hurt.
They do hurt after a while.
I don't play games to get hurt.
Well, come on. You get used to the
You get used to pain.
You're getting the exercise.
Masochist.
It's exercise.
Masochist.
You've never heard of exercise before.
Yeah, how's this exercise exactly?
Well, it's if you are an aspiring Tito Puente, I think you'll be digging on this game very much.
If anyone knows what he's talking about, please email me.
Tito
I'd
Puente.
like to know.
Great drummer. So what are you going to give Donkey Kong Jungle Beat?
I'm giving it a 5.5.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty fun. All right, what'd you think of Donkey Konga 2?
This game doesn't really feel like a sequel to me. I mean, it was only 7 months ago.
I know.
These style of games, it really all comes down to the music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And what we have here in Donkey Konga 2 is a bunch of music that's a couple of years old now.
Like REM is on there, Shiny Happy People, and
well, I mean that stuff's fun.
I thought that was good, but that's old.
They have Good Charlotte and
Pink is on there.
Pink's on there.
Yeah.
And,
Crystal Method is on there.
Crystal Method's on there, but it's not really them. So yeah, you get the Crystal Method music.
You get the tunes,
but you don't get the Crystal Method.
The deal with the game, as we all know, is you got to beat the bongos in time with the different sort of notes that scroll across the screen. It's
lots of whacking to do.
Lots of beating on the bongos. The best part about the game is playing with other people. Obviously, you got some cool 2-player battle modes where you actually have to stay in time and get all the rhythms down right, but you can also press this POW button and it screws everything up for the other guy. But this is also one of those games that might be a little bit too off the beaten path for most people out there. You do get some animated scrolling kind of backgrounds. It's a little bit better looking, I thought, than the first Donkey Konga game, but it still isn't super amazing. Well, I thought there was some more diversity in the different backgrounds. And you also have this rhythm game where you get all of the notes and you have to remember them and they go away and you have to keep the timing. I thought that was Simon. Pretty fun. Yeah, like Simon.
The cool thing about the first game was that they had a lot of different musical styles, whereas this one, it really seems like they kind of went for that pop radio thing from like a couple years ago.
You do get some of the, like, you can place the Donkey Kong themes in there.
Which I love. I don't know, it just, to me, it was just like, it was like the first game was a gimmick.
Yeah.
And now we got Donkey Konga 2 now, it's like, almost like, now it's really a gimmick.
Well, it feels a lot like an expansion package. It doesn't feel like a full price game.
Right.
But, you know, if you already have the bongos, if you already have the first Donkey Konga game, you like Jungle Beat.
You're going to have to pick it up.
Well, you know, if you like this vein, you're going to be happy. I'm going to give Donkey Konga 2 6.5 out of 10.
Wow, I think it's average. I'm giving it a 5.
When we come back, Donkey Kong enters the new millennium.
Oh, I thought we were going to shave each other's backs.
No, that's tomorrow.
Okay.
Coming soon to Reviews on the Run, Epic Mickey is ready to do some painting. Aliens are ready to harvest in Skyline. And tomorrow on the show, Sonic is racing around on the Kinect. But coming up next, it's the return of the great ape himself.
Welcome back to the show. Monkey, you know, we get to do a lot of fun things here at Reviews on the Run. But
We do. Every day we do.
We do. But one of the most fun things was we got our hands on an early copy of Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Many years ago, a mighty company once roamed the earth, and that company was known as Rare.
Yes.
They made a lot of great games. They made Perfect Dark. They made GoldenEye 007. They made Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
We're taking a look today at Donkey Kong Country Returns. Now, this isn't Rare.
Yeah, this is from Retro, who now are the unavowed masters of bringing back classic franchises.
I know. They really took control of Metroid, the Metroid series. They turned that into a first-person shooter, did a terrific job with that. Can they reboot Donkey Kong? Victor Lucas, what do you think?
I think they absolutely have. I think this game is
have they ever?
An amazing tip of the hat to all kinds of great 2D platforming fun that we've had in the
Miyamoto.
past. Absolutely. And the previous Donkey Kong games. But it's done with such love and such a great sort of...
In style and confidence.
The joy.
Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong, America's two favorite apes. Are they chimps or are they apes?
Well,
monkeys.
They're apes. Donkey Kong's like a big ape, and I think Diddy Kong is from the ape family. Let's call him a chimp.
So they're missing their bananas. Their bananas have been stolen. And not just one or two bananas, not just a wheelbarrow full of bananas, but you see truckloads of bananas being hauled out of this jungle.
By these weird alien musical instrument hybrid creature things that are hypnotizing everybody with their funky sounds.
The spirit creature, whatever it is going around hypnotizing all of the animals in the jungle, goes up to Donkey Kong, and it doesn't work for some reason. Every other character, it works.
It's the time.
And it's hilarious the way that Donkey Kong keeps looking at the camera and just like, nope, not working on me for some reason. Yeah, this is not an easy game. The original Donkey Kong Country was known for its challenge, and this game continues that tradition.
It kicks your ass.
You're going to be frustrated early and often.
The checkpoints, I think, is the big deal.
They're so far apart.
But I think that's what you do when you have a game like this. It's about memorization. It's about really learning the right moves at the right time.
Learning how to deal with certain kinds of enemies.
Well, you feel like a god when you beat these levels, too. I mean, that's the thing with challenge that's amped at this level is you feel empowered to beat it. And then there's all these...
Keep going. Just when you think you found all the secrets, you haven't. Trust me.
Yeah, and there's all these little secret areas and all of these areas where you're timed to collect as many coins and puzzle pieces and balloons as you possibly can. I mean, the whole way through, I just felt like this was an absolutely rewarding and satisfying experience. It's another Nintendo success this year. But I also felt that you can see the Jaggies a little bit more, and I'm really craving some HD, man.
Jaggies.
And I'm really starting to see the polygon seams.
This is a beautiful game.
It's a great game, and you know what? These polygons that Retro built really honor those old classic sprites that Rare built for the Donkey Kong Country series back on the Super Nintendo. But I don't think that they're at the same caliber of visual fidelity as those were in the heyday of that console. So that's my only quibble.
It's Victor's nitpick of the day.
Everything is sort of confined and refined to a few different gestures with the control pad and a couple of buttons. So it's really accessible, but there's a lot of depth. There are some cool little strategies and techniques that you have to kind of work to beat everything, but it's straightforward and it still has depth and it's still
it's beautiful in its simplicity. This is 2D platforming poetry. Victor Lucas, this is a 10 out of 10 for me.
You're giving it a 10. You're going all that way. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. 9. Too low. Today on the show, we went bananas with Mario vs. Donkey Kong Miniland Mayhem for the DS. This is a great puzzler with characters that we all know and love, but the gameplay isn't quite as addicting as it once was. Young Tommy and I checked out Donkey Kong 64 for the Nintendo 64. I enjoyed the epic scale and multiplayer in the game, but Tommy found this one to be too boring and average at best. Then we took a look at Mario vs. Donkey Kong on the Game Boy Advance. Tommy was blown away by the sound and unique gameplay. We busted out the plastic drums with Donkey Konga for the GameCube. The bongos were extremely fun to play with, but it felt like they were just a gimmick that wouldn't have much lasting appeal. Tommy and I blasted through Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, also for the GameCube. There's some addictive gameplay with nice visuals, but the overall experience was kind of over too quickly. We kept banging that drum with Donkey Konga 2 on the GameCube. Even though it's another solid bongo experience, it's way too much like the first game, just with new songs. Finally, Scott and I grabbed some bananas with Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii. This is an amazing reboot of the classic franchise, and it really lives up to the old-school platforming games from years gone by. And with that, Donkey Kong Country Returns is our Rogers must-buy of the day.